So much for the weather report. I don't know if when I'm term limited out of this office, if I have a career as a weatherman, but this is good practice. Can't hurt. The next person to come to the microphone is a friend of mine who has served as a Suffolk County executive. As I mentioned, Steve Bellone has served 3 terms, 12 years in that capacity. Prior to that, he was a town supervisor in the town of Bellone, so he's had executive experience. He has a military experience in his background, and he is a lawyer by profession. And most importantly, during my entry-level months as a county executive, I relied on his wisdom and his advice. When we went through COVID, I'm on the phone, what are you doing, how are you doing it, to try to get input as to what was the best practices here in Westchester. So I've relied on him as a colleague of great skill and ability, and I know that because he's a significantly younger man than I am, his career in public service is not yet over, but we'll have that conversation whenever that time is right. But for right now, he is my friend, and he is the former Suffolk County Executive, the Honorable Steve Bellone. Steve, thank you for being here in Westchester. Welcome back.
George, it's great to be here.
Thanks a lot, my friend.
Great to see you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, County Executive. It is wonderful to be back here in Westchester County, and I have to tell you, is now a week out being the former County Executive in Suffolk County, hearing that weather report, it certainly takes me back, having 22 years having been in charge of operating and running and managing storms like this. It is a different experience not having that responsibility, and I know you continue to do, and your team here continues to do an outstanding job on that. As far as being a weatherman, I have to say, my kids growing up, my kids are still, as you know, in high school and junior high school. They used to, when they were younger, tell their friends that I was the weatherman and all their friends believed it, because every time there was a storm, they would see me on TV, and they were home from school, of course. So I think you might have a shot at that weatherman job. I've been to Westchester County many times as county executive, has led this really wonderful place, and it's always great to be here because it is a special place. And I think we have shared common ground, both George and I, one in understanding that there are many things that Suffolk County and Westchester County share. They're beautiful places. Of course, they're large counties, over 1 million people. In both counties, you have a strong middle class, working class communities, all with their own unique identities, of course. You have places of wealth. You have places that are economically distressed as well. You have incredible parks and beaches, open space. So we found, I think, right from the outset, as we came to know one another, that there was so much that we had in common. And so when issues came up, we found that standing together, we had a stronger voice, whether it was in Albany or in Washington. I remember being here in White Plains and talking about the SALT tax, state and local property tax exemption, and fighting against what was happening in Washington. Then I was here when we talked about shared services and how we can collaborate together to save money for taxpayers. And of course, as the county executive mentioned, during COVID, we relied on one another. We were on the phone constantly. We were talking about what was happening here in Westchester. This, of course, is the place really in New York where it started. So we were able to watch and see how the county executive handled things here, and it was to our great benefit that we watched his leadership. And so a lot in common. We've dealt with a number of issues during my tenure in Suffolk County over the past 12 years, a number of crises. We started out dealing with Superstorm Sandy in my first year in office, and from there, a financial crisis, and we had cyber attack, and of course, COVID, multiple storms we dealt with. And as I said, we always leaned on one another for those. We tackled a major water quality crisis where we now have the largest amount of sewer infrastructure being built in Suffolk County in more than 4 decades. Economic development issues where we work to leverage the great innovation assets we have in Suffolk County, like Brookhaven National Laboratory, Stony Brook University, Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory, to help keep young people in our region. And again, with all of these, we look to our colleagues, and I've looked here to Westchester County on issues like economic development and how you have advanced them so effectively here. And I think the last thing I would say is, one of the big challenges that we face here and really nationally is a loss of faith in institutions all across the board, but that includes government. And it is an imperative that we restore that faith. And as I observed and watched from my seat in Suffolk County, what I saw here was effective, transparent, ethical governance that sought to and seeks to achieve common ground to advance things that matter to families and communities. And at the end of the day, that's what we're here for. And that's the style of governance that we've seen here, and it's why people, I think, have responded so effectively to it and has really provided an example of how we can restore faith in government and how critical that is. So, George, my hat off to you. I want to thank you for all the help that you gave me and Suffolk County during your tenure. Your voice in the State County Association, NYSAC, New York State Association of Counties, was always one of the strongest and most respected voices, and I know that continues to this day. It's been a great honor to serve with you, and maybe I'll take that weatherman gig before you get to it. Thank you, my friend. It's good to be with you.
Thank you, Steve. Again, real pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Steve Bellone, the immediate past county executive of Suffolk County, and a wonderful fellow, and I'm sure we'll have many more conversations in the days to come. As I said earlier, I don't think Steve's public career is completed yet, and hopefully we'll have those conversations in due time.